few seconds time. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. And this is a very special Zoom meeting for beginners. And in many sense, I think everyone's a beginner, to be honest with you. So let's start. For the first sort of 15 minutes or so, Jeff and I are going to have a little talk about four or five different aspects of beginning to play pickleball. And I've put a little agenda up there. But first, just a bit of housekeeping. Um, uh, I mean, there's the mute button there. If on the bottom left, if I don't know if the dog starts barking or anything like that. If you want to ask a question, just put your hand up on the screen. I'll be able to see it. Or there is a little cartoon hand that you can find at the bottom there. And when you're asking a question, I mean, there aren't that many of us, so I kind of know what your name is. And these are the five aspects that we're going to kick off with. So these are the sort of the bits of advice that Jeff has come up with. I've basically said to him, what are the five bits of advice, the five challenges, and the five bits of advice? So we're going to go through these and I'll moderate the meeting. But basically, the idea of taking lessons and clinics pretty quickly in your pickleball journey. Safety first, don't overdo it. Set it and forget it, which I have no idea what that means. So I'm going to ask Jeff a bit later what that means. Um, the use of big muscles for all shots and having a loose grip but firm wrist. So, Jeff, let's start. Tell us about, if someone is just starting um, and they're just stepping on court, you really think take some lessons or clinics, do you?
I really do. There are so many people that I see 6 months, a year and a half into playing pickleball, and they come in and they say, "Okay, well, I want to get better," but they've developed some very poor habits. Um, if you listen to the local guy down at the YMCA, who's the 3.0 guy who has bad habits, but who's been playing long enough that he gets it over the net, then he starts giving tips around and sometimes they're good tips, sometimes they aren't. And I've had a lot of people come to me with really bad form. And not only do I have to teach them, I have to unteach them what they've learned. And then I have to turn around and teach them correct form and correct strategy. So if you're going to be serious about this and really want to improve and get better, one of our students just or our people just said, she doesn't think she should be better than this at this time. The way to do that is to make sure your form and your mechanics and your footwork and all the other aspects of playing pickleball are explained to you and modeled to you so that they are correct. Uh,
So give us, Jeff, give us an example of that,
okay,
form,
so
footwork. Just give us
okay,
an example of what you mean.
So there are foundational strokes that we teach as PPR certified pickleball instructors. The one foundational thing that we really teach is keeping the ball in front of us and in front of our bodies and keeping our pickleball paddle extended so that we're always hitting the ball in front of us. We use the term early taker. So we want to be able to take the ball out here early in there instead of like we do in tennis where we have the ball alongside of us. So it's a different stroke, and a lot of tennis players have adapted the tennis stroke for pickleball, and it works for some of them, but it does you hit that 3-5 level, and it'll kind of block off until you really realize that you have to keep the ball in front of you. So there are one or two foundational strokes that we will teach you, and then from those two foundational strokes, all the other strokes are aspects of those strokes. So once we teach you how to hit a serve, and once we teach you how to dig, we take those two strokes and say, okay, you want to learn a drop shot? It's the same as hitting a drive, but you do it differently. Here's you use the same swing, but we do it a little bit differently. Oh, you want to learn to hit a lob? Okay, while you're up front, We're going to use that same stroke that we use dinking, but we're going to extend our paddle upwards and over the person's non-dominant hand. So everything, if we can learn those two basic foundational strokes, then we can really learn to get the and drill with somebody. I think that's the second aspect of it. Once you have a lesson, a lot of times I will team up other people with other people. If I have two students, then I will make sure they have each other's information and they can show up and share back and forth. They can do their drilling, and that really helps you get better. If you are expecting to get better by just showing up at the court and start hitting the ball, that's probably part of the problem. Unless you're an extremely athletic person, that's something that's going to be a tough go, as Patty might say.
So when we look at lessons and clinics, I
Mhm.
suppose it kind of depends on one's personality, how one learns. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, most people will probably do well one-on-one coaching, but that can be quite expensive. But in a group of six or so, I suspect that's a good way to learn.
yeah, I teach. I would say 80% of the teaching I do are in clinics. So I teach a clinic for beginners. I'll teach a clinic for advanced beginners. I like to teach what I call an instructional ladder league. So I will take advanced beginners or low intermediate players, and I will match them up, and then I will let them play. And when the ball stops, then I will move in and say, okay, here's why that didn't work. Here's where you should have been. There's where the ball should have went. You let the ball come back and hit it alongside. You didn't keep your paddle out in front. So I will work with them doing lessons basically while they're playing. So you get the benefit of both. You get the benefit of learning how to play while you are playing. So I think that's an important thing. But I really like to have you for 4 to 8 weeks before I start that, because I want to give you the opportunity to make sure you can serve it, you can return the serve, and you have a basic understanding of the rules and how to get up to the non-volley zone. But after that, then we start the instructional ladder leagues where people are playing. So I really
Yeah.
enjoy teaching that way.
And if we're looking at like the very beginnings, and I know Bernie's,
Mhm.
I think Sylvie, sorry, I beg your pardon, has played two times,
Right.
so you're right at the beginning. I suspect it probably wouldn't be a bad idea in terms of basic rules and scoring to try and sort of watch a video or something. I think there's a couple of good Sylvie's nodding. A couple of good sort of 5-minute videos about it. You don't have to know all the rules, but it seems to me that I say to people there are two main rules really. The two bounce rule and don't volley in the kitchen.
Right.
And everything else kind of fits into place as you start playing. Is that correct? Is that within
Yeah.
your
A lot of times, the first thing I will do with a new student clinic is I will take them onto the court. I will explain all the lines and what they mean, and then I will explain how we serve cross court and the two bounce rule, of course, and I always call it the non-volley zone. I don't call it the kitchen, at least at first, because
yeah.
the non-volley zone is exactly what it is. You cannot volley from that zone. So once I do that, we go. I used to teach dinking first, but I find that a lot of beginners just get up there and start whacking the ball. So I
Yeah, because
start
that's what
now
you
with
want to
a
do, isn't it? You get on court, you want to
right.
give it a full-blooded whack every now and again, don't you?
So what we do now is we teach the construction of a point. So we start with a serve, we start with a return serve, and then we start with how you get to the non-volley zone and blocking shots, creating opportunities for yourselves, those types of things. So, but
Okay.
if I have somebody for 4 weeks, I can get them in. I mean, unless they're extremely unathletic, and I run into very few people like this that can't get a serve across, can't understand how to anticipate the return serve, and then start moving up to the line. And then we can start really doing things. But I find that a lot of people think they can just go out and start playing.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's not the case. And I think
Yeah.
there's a false sense of security there that they think, well, I should
Yup.
just be able to go out and play this.
But interestingly, what you said before, just to pick that up, is sometimes some people get on the court, start hitting the ball, and they kind of feel that they're playing, but
Hmm.
they'll do that for a number of weeks, and then that's kind of detrimental, actually. It's a bit like your dad teaching you to drive. You know,
Yes.
you pick up all the bad habits, and you should really have a proper driving instructor before your test. That's a really good point. Okay, let's move on to the second point for beginners, which is safety first. Um,
Right. So
don't
one of
overdo
the
it is
things,
one of the big things.
right. I teach basically three different things. First thing I'll tell people is eyewear is smart. I'm not going to demand anybody have eyewear. Every clinic that I do has a waiver with it that basically says you're on your own. If you get hurt, you get hurt because you're on your own. There's not going to be any negligence in this. But one of the first things I teach is eyewear. I hit a guy. I had, oddly enough, the eye injuries, probably 75% of the eye injuries come from your partner. So you'll
Yeah,
take your paddle and it'll hit off the tip and go right into your eye. It just happened the other night. Fortunately, a young lady that was playing in a court next to me got hit in the eye, but it didn't do any damage. But I think it woke her up into saying, yeah, maybe I need to put some eyewear on. So the composite frames and the polycarbonate lenses are considered safety glasses. So that's why I always have glasses. I wear glasses anyhow, but I keep them on to play. Second thing I tell people is court shoes.
yeah,
A lot of people show up with running shoes, and we all know about running shoes. Their stability is the toe and the heel because you're landing on your heel, rolling forward onto your toe, and springing off, landing on your heel. So the running shoes are designed for stability in front and back. Court shoes, volleyball shoes, badminton shoes, squash shoes, they are all designed to have the stability alongside of the shoe. So that's what you really want in this because we have a lot more lateral movement than we do forward and backward movement. You think about the transition zone from the baseline to the non-volley zone, it's 15 feet. So it's not like we're running a marathon or anything. But once we get to the non-volley zone, we move quite a bit sideways. So that's where you want your lateral support to be. So I always encourage people. I wear Fila shoes, Fila. They're always on sale on their site, and they're $40 or $45. So it's not like you have to go out and spend $150 for a pair of shoes. You can, and there's probably better shoes out there, but I've never had any problem with the Fila shoes. So that's what I typically buy. And then
yeah.
the third thing is don't backpedal. People say don't run backwards. And I say, well, yeah, that's how you have to run. You have to run backwards, but you have to turn and at least run sideways, but you can't backpedal. So this is how I've seen a young lady break both wrists because she started backpedaling. She lost her balance, put her arms behind her to brace it, and ended up breaking both wrists. I've seen people break one wrist. I've seen people roll backwards and hit the back of their head on the asphalt. So you don't want to backpedal more than one or two steps. And it depends again on how athletic you are. If you're a former football player or basketball player and you're used to that movement, it's probably a little easier for you. But for the average person to backpedal more than two or three steps is not a
And
good
if
idea. So those are the three things that I really.
I think one of the things I say to myself, if it's a really good lob, just let it go. It's not, it's
What?
just not.
Yeah.
If it's a really good one, just
That's one of those things that is just
be
not in my
careful.
personality. I look back there and say, I can get that. I'm still 20 years old. I can run back and get that.
Yeah, but just we got to be careful out there, folks.
Yeah,
Great.
I
Okay.
agree.
Um, And I mean, another there are some obvious things as well about safety. Things like hydration and water. Make sure you got water with you and a hat. I think a lot of pickleballs played in sort of quite hot conditions, so be careful and beware. But there's lots of sort of cost-effective ways of doing this, like Jeff mentioned. There are court shoes for $40. I mean, pickleball is a pretty cost-effective sport, I think, which is fantastic.
Extremely.
And hydration, you can buy all these fancy hydration sort of things, but honestly, I put a bit of squash or cordial in a water bottle with a bit of salt in it, and that's it. And that's as good as Gatorade or anything else you're going to buy. So, you don't need all the fancy dancy stuff. Now, third thing, Jeff, which you describe. Steve, you all right there?
Is
Um,
Barbara
the
choking Steve? Is Steve, just put up your hand if you need help. We'll call 911.
You can even recognize his cough. This is
I
really
can,
scary.
trust me. The third one, Jeff, is you say set it and forget it. I'm not sure what
Yeah.
this means, so you're gonna have to explain it.
Okay, so for beginners, and I think this works so well for beginners. I don't know how many people out there remember a guy named Ron Popeil. So he will not be knowledgeable to you, Patty, but to us in the American states, he was a guy back in the 80s who did infomercials. And he had a pocket fisherman, if anybody remembers the pocket fisherman. He also had a chicken rotisserie grill where you could put he would skewer 5 chickens, and it was in a circular grill. And he had a saying, and it just stuck with me when I started playing pickleball. He said, it's so simple. You just slip the lid, you set it, and forget it. And I thought, that's pickleball. To me, that is pickleball. So when you're playing pickleball, we have a thing called RREI. Ready, react to where the ball is going to. E is for execute the shot. I is for improve. So in the 2 R's, the ready and receive, uh, what I really advocate is that you get into your position. So all you're doing is setting your paddle. I want you to think about your paddle as like a catcher's mitt. So if the ball is coming back to me, all I want to do is run to the spot where it's going to be. I want to put my paddle in the relative area where the ball is going to bounce, or I'm going to take it out of the air. I want you to aim that paddle. And then all you're going to do is push that shot back to the other side. So that's what I mean. I'm going to stand up here and see if I can do this. So I'm having the paddle here, and I'm running over to where it's going to be. I'm setting my paddle. So it's going to bounce out here, up into my paddle. My paddle's right here. All I'm going to do is push it to my target. So that's what I mean by setting and forgetting the ball.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
don't, you, as you're moving, you want to get your paddle out so that by the time you get there, your paddle is in the correct position, whether it's forehand or backhand. And the paddle is about where the ball is going to bounce. And it's just sitting there waiting. Then all you have to do is forget about everything else, and you have to push that ball back to your target. And that works so easy. It's just a simple thing. It's such a common phrase in America. Set it and forget it. Set the paddle, push it towards your target, forget about everything else. And I think it makes shots easier when you do that.
Okay. Okay. I've learnt something. Fantastic. Well done. Okay. The fourth one, use big muscles for all your shots. What do you mean by that?
Right. Well, I always tell people your paddle should be attached to your feet. And the reason I say that is everything we do should come from our legs. Our legs are our big muscles. So when we're playing, we want to be in a position like this with our knees bent, but my paddle isn't going to move independently. So I see a lot of beginners doing this. So they haven't moved their upper body or anything. They just moved their paddle. And if you do that, you can't use your big muscles. You're going to be using your wrist or your elbow when you hit the ball. What I want you to do is be able to turn your body slightly. And when you turn your body slightly, watch my hand. my arm is not moving. My paddle is moving because my body is moving. So my core muscles are using my legs. So when I turn, my legs are turning, my paddle's coming with my legs and feet. And now when I hit the ball, I'm hitting it with my legs. Your legs are your strongest weapon. Your legs are your strongest muscles in your body. So when you're hitting the ball, if you're using your legs, you can use a much more compact swing than hitting it with your arm like this. So that's what I find with beginners. They are all arms, or they'll serve it and they'll be serving like this rather than like this, using their whole body. So I want to really tell all beginners, use your big muscles, use your legs, use your core. We don't want to use anything with our arm. Our arms are trailers, our wrists are trailers, our elbows are trailers to what we do with our body. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I think a lot comes from your legs, just sort of bending your knees and then coming up and forward. That seems,
I just,
that seems to be quite a
yeah,
big thing.
I can't believe that we, we do it any other way. One of the things my mentor taught me, one of the first things out of the gate was I was swinging with my arms a lot. And frankly, I was doing pretty well with my arms, but I couldn't get any speed on the ball. I had to overswing because I was using smaller muscles. So he taught me to use my legs. And as soon as I started doing that, Mike, I had so much more control. I had so much easier time placing the ball where I wanted to. So, he was an excellent teacher. He taught me, and I told him right away when I played for 15 minutes. I said, "This is what I'm going to do as a retired person." So I took lessons off of him, and I told him the first day, not only do I want to play, not only do I want to be in tournaments, I want to teach this within a year. And he just kind of looked at me funny, but he made me my hands bleed almost by hitting the ball so many times. But that's what I did, is he made me do it until I couldn't do it wrong. Not until I did it right, but until I couldn't do it wrong. So that's what the level of commitment I had. And he made me use my legs. And boy, it's just worked out so much better because now it's just I don't even think about it. It's just something that naturally happens. So use your big muscles. That's huge.
Yeah, very good, very good. And then the fifth thing is loose grip and a firm wrist.
Right. Another thing I see from beginners is they have a death grip on the paddle. So when we think about a grip pressure from 1 to 10, we want to is if we're up near the non-volley zone, which we aspire to be when we're playing, we want to have a grip up there of about 3. So we've talked about this before, having a grip pressure of 3. So if you have a grip pressure of 3, you think about a baby bird. You have a baby bird in your hand. You don't want to crush it, but you don't want to let it go. That's how loose you should be holding your paddle. What I find from a lot of beginners is they have a 9 or 10 death grip up here. And when you grip your paddle that hard, it can't move in your hand. And when all you have to do is touch it a little bit, and you're putting so much pace on the ball, they're hitting the ball up. And I hear a lot of times from my beginners, well, Coach Jeff, why are they able to slam the ball on me? And my response is always, what are you doing that is causing them the ability to slam on you? And I would say 60% of the time, this is what it is. They are gripping the paddle too tightly. Now, I'm going to show you real quick why you shouldn't hold the paddle. So when you're holding the paddle, we don't want you to hold the paddle like this. It shouldn't be going straight out from your arm. So if I'm holding it as a 10, I'm really gripping it hard. This is the only thing I can do. I have a firm wrist, so I'm going to be hitting the paddle which way? Up in the air, right? So if I start to gradually relax my hand, what happens is my grip relaxes, and now my paddle is hanging here. So if you can see it, we don't want it like this. We want it like this, so that when we're hitting it, we're just pushing the ball like this, and we're keeping it nice and easy. We're setting the paddle, we're forgetting about it, and we're just pushing it towards our target. So this is what we want, not this. And if we have a real tight grip, this is what we get. Okay. You want to have a firm wrist at all times, because what we're doing is this. We're not doing this. Again, we go back to the big muscles that we talked about earlier, where if we're holding our paddle, we're pushing the ball with our arm, with our shoulder, with our leg muscles, instead of doing this, flicking the ball like that. There is a
Yeah.
time to flick the ball, and that's more of an advanced skill. I would never teach that to beginners to start with, because it's an advanced skill. When you're up to the non-volley zone, you want to learn to be able to just put it away by flicking it. But
Good.
that's maybe 5 to 10% of your shots you're going to use. The rest of it is all firm, a loose grip, firm wrist.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much, Jeff. Right. Those are the 5 aspects that Jeff felt were important for beginners. I'm going to open it up now to questions. So has anyone got any particular questions about those 5 aspects, or indeed anything else? Bernie.
It isn't necessarily about the 5, but I wanted to know what you recommend for newbies as to how to serve. So I started off just kind of dropping the ball onto my racket, on my paddle. And now I switched it where I drop it onto the ground, let it bounce once.
Okay.
I don't know.
I really don't have a preference. I tell people to experiment with it. If you're doing the bounce serve, what I would do is I would take a step back behind there, drop it out front, and then I would move forward. The key aspect of getting a serve in place is being able to move your body weight from the back foot to the front foot. So if I were to show you that on the side screen, my body weight is back here. When I continue, this is what it should look like when I serve. My body weight should move from my back to my front. That's where we get our power from. Again, using big muscles, that would be our legs. So I don't have a preference. There are no professional players that have the drop serve. So everybody who's a professional player uses a volley serve. It was the only serve I knew of when I started playing. There wasn't any such thing as a drop serve. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do that. I would say a third of my students end up doing drop serves, and probably 2/3 end up doing volley serves. Now, form-wise, there's 2 thoughts I will give you. Number 1, have you ever played cornhole?
Say it again?
Have you ever played cornhole?
Yes, yesterday.
Okay.
I just sat all day.
So how would you throw that bag? It's a little heavy, right? You don't just stand there and flick it with your wrist.
Yeah.
How would you do that? You would stand up like this, and you would put your weight on your back foot, and you would toss it like this, right?
Yeah.
Guess what? That's serving. How about bowling? Same concept. You're going from low to high. You're stepping into it. Your weight moves from your back, and you change your weight to your front when you're bowling. So you can think of either I take my first lessons. I have 4 cornhole bags I take with me, and I make people, before they do anything, I tell them put their paddle down. I give them 4 cornhole bags. I tell them to throw the cornhole bags across the court and make them land on the other side of the net. As soon as I put a paddle in their hand, it's remarkable how easy it becomes then, because it's the same motion. I said, okay, now instead of your cornhole, you have your paddle. So I tell them, as soon as they put their paddle in their hand, I said, now drop your ball into your paddle and use that paddle as the cornhole bag.
And I guess looking at the whether to bounce serve or volley serve, I mean, if a beginner is more comfortable doing the bounce serve, I suspect it's good to continue with that. And then when you get a little better, you may change to the volley serve, because I mean, it isn't a completely different stroke.
Okay, so I will say one thing: never use that terminology. Bounce serve,
right?
Drop serve, because
serve.
I have people who try to do this.
Okay, bounce.
That's a bounce serve. So I learned early on when I first started teaching, I was saying bounce serve, and people go, "Oh, like this."
Oh, that's funny.
Bounce it, and I go, "Well, okay, that's pretty much what I told you to do. But so
Yeah.
now I'm really careful about using the terminology drop serve. So
Yeah.
the drop serve motion is exactly the same.
Yeah.
You just aren't holding the ball. So if you're going to do the drop serve, Barbara, what I would tell you, not Barbara, who was it?
Bernie.
Bernie. So Bernie, if you're doing the drop serve, wait. So when you're doing a drop serve, your hand is out here. Once you let the ball go, it's all one motion. Step and swing at the same time. I have people doing drop serves and they'll drop it and they'll start moving in, but now their weight is forward and now they're using all arm to hit the ball. Whereas if you wait and then while you're stepping forward, now your weight is moving forward and you make
Yeah.
that swing. So a lot
And
of
that goes back to what you were saying, use the big muscles for all shots. So it's the
absolutely.
same thing there. That's a
Does that make
great
sense,
question,
Bernie?
Bernie. Sorry, Bernie, if you want to carry on with that?
So I feel like I have more power when I do the drop serve, and I'm like popping it in the air when I do the volley serve. But
Okay, so what I will tell you, the example you used right there, I saw a lot of this.
well,
So one of the
I'm
things we're
showing it to you like on my camera, so I can't really do it. But
okay,
I
so
will demonstrate what the volley serve would look like positioning wise, because I do have a feeling I'm like I'm holding the racket wrong and popping it in the air instead of like giving them a good hard serve.
okay, so what that sounds like is you're holding the ball too high. So when you're doing any serve, what we're looking for is a long U-shaped swing. So we're starting back here, and our swing is long and U-shaped. So this is what we want to see. What a lot of people do is they hold the ball this high, and then their swing is like this. It's abbreviated. It's this kind of U, not this kind of U. See how much longer my swing is when I'm doing that? And if you do that, you will push the ball more towards your target. Keeping your arm extended without doing this is a key part of that. So if your arm is bent like this, it's got no place to go but up. If your arm is down here extended, you can extend that paddle right towards your target. So this is why I advocate for this being your position, not this, because if you're hitting up, it's going to pop up, right?
Yeah.
So relax your grip, take a step forward when you're doing that, and really whip that through there. So think about that cornhole bag, think about that bowling ball, and releasing it with your arm like this. You wouldn't throw a cornhole bag like this. So make sure your arm is not, one of the things where we get tennis elbow from is having a bent arm, because that way, every time we're hitting a backhand shot, we're hyperextending this tendon right here. So we don't want to do that. We want to use our entire body and are keeping our arm pretty much straight out when we do that. We don't want to bring it back here.
Thank you, Dr. Jeff. You just diagnosed me.
Okay. It's
Well
not
done.
like I haven't seen that. I probably taught, I think in the last 3.5 years, I'm over 800 students. And probably 600 of those were beginners or advanced beginners. So this is something I see all the time. So
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Has anyone got any questions about either the 5 topics or indeed anything else to do with pickleball? Barbara, I know you got to go a bit early. I don't know if you got a question before we.
Probably the biggest issue that I have is trying to get better communication with my partners. I'm left-handed. Most of the people I play with are right-handed. And it's that middle area where we're either both, it's a forehand for both of us or it's a backhand for both of us. And I'm finding that
Yeah.
I need better skills in terms of communicating with my partner. Half of the time, even more than half of the time, they don't realize I am left-handed until all of a sudden the shot goes past us and says, "Oh, you're one of them." And I'm kind of hyper aware of the fact that I'm left-handed and most of the world is not.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the problem is you're playing with the wrong hand to begin with. See, if you were playing right-handed, Barbara, you would be it would be everything would be just fine. So
Did
if
my
you,
husband pay you to say that?
yes, do you have a left-handed paddle or a right-handed paddle?
Don't answer him, Barbara.
This is one of the things I do.
Not falling
I
into
do
that
this.
trap.
I do to all my students.
Right.
The first time they come in, they have these Amazon paddles, and I'll look at one of them and I'll say, "Are you left-handed?" "Well, no, I'm right-handed." "Well, you know you have a left-handed man's paddle." "Well, they didn't say on Amazon." I just start laughing, and everybody laughs, and we have a good
Yeah.
time. I like to do.
What's
So
interesting
let
though
me
is that
tell you what.
in field hockey, the stick is just kind of a one-way stick. And my
Right.
daughter's left-handed, and she had issues just trying to deal with that. But now I know
Right.
that there are no left-handed and right-handed paddles, and I
Right.
know that he always says that I use the wrong hand. But
Yeah. So what I will tell you is we want to use a term called respect the X. So this is what, the communication should happen before the game, not during the game a lot of times. And that gets rid of a lot of the tension that's out there. So respect the X means if the ball is moving away from you and towards your partner, let your partner have the ball. And if the ball is moving towards you and away from your partner, he should let you have the ball. And it doesn't matter then whether you're left-handed or right-handed. So the only time that really comes into play is if somebody hits a return serve down the middle, which I advocate in most cases. Hit the return serve down the middle. Now, if it's coming straight on, we got to get a mine or a yours. We got to do that. But if it's over in one of the corners, so let's say you're on the right side facing the net, and your left hand is in the middle and his right hand is in the middle also. If the ball is traveling towards you and the ball is coming over there, unless your partner can jump that route and take it short, which is a good strategy, but if he can't get there, he should let you have the ball because the ball is coming towards your paddle and away from his paddle. So, and this depends on our age, our athleticism, our quickness, but mostly if you set that up beforehand, if you talk to hey, just a quick thing, we play respect the X. Can we play respect the X? If the ball's coming towards me, I'll take it. If it's coming towards you, I'm going to leave it alone and let you have that ball. And then that probably takes care of 80 to 85% of the problem. Then it's just a matter if it's down the middle, then we've got to call mine or yours. And usually
But
there's one person.
There's still that communication aspect, isn't there? And we all sort of come across this. I mean, here in the UK, everyone's terribly nice and polite. I'm sure you are in the States as well.
absolutely.
I was
And
going to
generally,
say you've never been to America, I take it. So
I have, but I haven't played pickleball there yet. But joking apart, you've got to communicate, don't you? Especially left hand, right hand. I played with a left-hander and I'm right-handed, and I found it really tough, you know. And all I could say was, let's just call a lot, you know, yours, mine, you know, just be really verbal, and let's do it. And it sort of seemed to work. But it's
now
almost
the,
like you've got to have a bit of a chat with your partner sort of early on or before the game. Just sort of say, look, I'm
uh,
left-handed. Let's talk, let's communicate a lot.
the other thing I would say is if one of you are if the disparity between ability is one way or the other, if you are the better player, um, you might want to call mine and take more shots if you're trying to win the game. If you recognize that, and hopefully the other player recognizes that as well. And if you're not that player, you know, don't be disparaged by the fact that a player that might have a little higher skill level would be taking most of those shots in the middle. But the respect the X takes away all of that nonsense about who should take it, especially
Yeah.
if it's coming from one side or the other. This isn't necessarily beginner stuff, but if you're dinking the ball and you dink it cross court, your partner should move to the line and you should move to the middle. And that's your job, is to be right there in the middle. Then when it comes back, you get back to your regular position. But that's called shading, and that's a little more of an advanced strategy. But if you know where you're supposed to be, this game becomes a lot easier.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Thank you.
We got about a quarter of an hour to go. We've got plenty of time. There's no rush. Any other questions? Sylvie, have you got? Yes, please go on.
I want to buy a paddle.
Okay.
Is that the word, the paddle?
Yep. Yep.
That's what we say in English? Okay.
Yes.
Is there any brand? Is it specific?
Yes. I will tell you right now. The new paddle I'm using is, and I will be honest with you, I have a code for it. It saves you money. So I'm telling you up front that this is something that they give me a commission on, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is it right here. It's called the Friday Fever. And this is a new, this is a Generation 3 paddle. So what Gen 3 paddles do is most of the paddles everybody plays with are Generation 2 paddles, which means they are thermoformed and they have 12mm polycarbonate cells inside. The new Generation 3 paddles have 8mm cells. They're tighter. They'll allow you to hit the ball a little harder, but there's foam around the outside edges that really give this a trampoline effect. I play at 4-8, 4-9 against 5-0 players. And I'm telling you, if you don't have a Generation 3 paddle, it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight because these guys are hitting rockets.
But having said that, Jeff,
right.
if we're talking about beginning,
Right.
it's kind of, I mean, we at Singapore Senior Pickleball Tips, we kind of recommend the Friday paddle.
Yes. But
because they have a tremendous deal on the
do.
generation below that one are just absolutely phenomenal. I played with one, and I better just say this now. That's the paddle I won the English national singles title with. so I just thought I'd mention that. Just thought I'd mention.
Well, Patty, I will tell you, if you want to win it at the 3-5 and 4-0 level, get a Gen 3 paddle.
I will.
mean, they are just.
I will.
So it gets that.
Even
Yeah.
for
So
beginners?
this one. Yeah. This is the beauty of Gen 3 paddles. So it has 3 layers of carbon fiber on the outside, on both sides. So what that means is when you're hitting it easy, it really isn't getting into the core of the paddle. You're just dinking, you're hitting drop shots, you're hitting easy shots. You won't know this paddle from a Generation 2 or a Generation 1 paddle. It doesn't make any difference. But when you want to really hit the ball with some pace, it unlocks that core and it really trampolines the ball off there and gives you a harder shot. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with the Generation 2 Friday paddles. They're 2 for $100. I recommend them to, up until now, I've recommended them to every beginner that has come in. It just depends. It depends on how much you want to spend and how much you're going to play. So if you're going to play once a week and you don't want to be competitive and you just want to go out with your girlfriends or a group and play, get the 2 for $100 deal. Split it with somebody else and get that. If you want to be, you say, well, you know, a year from now, I want to be a little more competitive and stuff. I would go this route. It's twice as much, but it's still only $99. And you're talking about a paddle. I played against 2 guys last night. They both had the Yola 4 Perseus paddles. They're $280.
Don't need them.
I was able to keep up with them with this $99 paddle. I couldn't believe how well it. So if you want to be competitive, then I would spend $99 and get a better paddle.
Yeah,
if
it's
you
probably
just want to play for fun. The 2
I mean,
for $5,
I know
2
you can get the real sort of cheapo sets. You know, you go to Amazon and you get 2 paddles and 8 balls and a net. And the paddles there, they're kind of wooden paddles, and we probably wouldn't recommend those. But just sort of step up to something, you know, $50, $60. I mean, we do recommend the 2 Friday paddles for $99.
Absolutely.
You really cannot go wrong. You can't go wrong.
Where can I purchase those?
Well, if you can go to the Friday site, or if you go, I have Patty has been nice enough to promote this for me. I have a channel on YouTube called Limitless Pickleball. So if you go there, I have Limitless Pickleball.
It's on his
Right here.
shirt. There.
Right
Sylvie,
there.
Yeah,
it's on his shirt.
I'm sorry.
Limitless Pickleball.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's on the shirt. Okay, very good.
Yeah, Limitless
Got
Pickleball. If you go onto YouTube, I think there's 56 videos up there right now. And on there, I do have Friday paddle reviews. So I have the paddle review for this one. I have the paddle review for the 2 for $100 ones. And there's a code right there. You can just click on that code. It'll take you right to the website. They
Even,
have different.
even in Canada, they ship it to Canada?
Oh
or-
yeah, they sure
Yeah.
do. Yeah, they
Yeah.
sure do.
Okay.
So yeah, those are very good. But for Barbara and everybody else who's watching, if you go to Limitless Pickleball, and I just did a new video about being at the non-volley zone, but I have a lot of beginner videos on there.
Yeah, go and check it out.
Will give you some tips
Yeah,
beyond what
Yeah.
we're talking about now. So just to share that.
good. Yeah, so does that answer your question, Sylvie, about a paddle? Um,
Especially if you have a girlfriend or a husband who wants to play, the 2 for $100 deal you
Yeah.
can't beat.
Yeah, and it's
Can't
quite
beat
nice to turn up with two paddles, because sometimes a new beginner will arrive without a paddle. Here's one, come and join us. It's quite nice to have two on you.
And they're very sporty, are they not, Patty? They have
Yeah.
a bunch
Good
of different
jazzy designs. You'll love it.
Yes,
You'll love
a
it.
lot of jazzy designs. That's well said.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, so I mean there are other paddles available, obviously. But Jeff and I do recommend those Friday paddles
Yeah.
because they're good and they're well priced too, and that's important,
Yes.
Wonderful. So anyone got any other questions for Jeff in regard to playing pickleball or any other
Where do you-
aspect of
Where
pickleball?
do you coach, Jeff? Where do you?
If you look right behind me, I'm actually at the place that I teach. This is called Ascent Pickleball, and I'm in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, which is near
Okay.
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So,
And Sylvie, you're in
I-
Canada.
this just opened up about. She's
Yeah.
Quebec.
Quebec,
Quebec.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Instead
Just to let you
instead
know,
of Quebec, it's
in my
Quebec.
area, it has to be, we have to be part of an association, and there's 300
Oh,
people
yeah.
before me to be coached.
Wow.
So I have to
Wow.
take a turn. Yeah,
Oh.
so
So if
for
I
now,
came
what
up
I'm
to
doing,
Quebec.
I'm watching videos, but now
Yeah.
I'm gonna be on your channel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look it up for.
Do you
getting
have a
things
Sylvie?
like
Do you
that.
do you have a good wall somewhere in a
A good-
garage or something like that? And then you can sort of just do some gentle hitting against the wall. You can draw a line at 32
Maybe
inches,
at a
34
school.
inches, and then you can just gently
Yeah.
just sort
Yeah.
of get a little bit of rhythm going,
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have painter's tape. So
Yeah.
even if you have a school around you or something that has
Yeah.
I would say a cement block wall, not like a brick wall because it has some, but a cement block wall.
I'll
I
have
would
to
put
watch that.
painter's tape at 35 inches across, because if you know pickleball on the outside, if the lines are 36, in the middle they're 34. So if you put it at
Oh.
35, you're going to be right in the middle. Make it about 4 feet wide, and then come back 7 feet and put a strip of tape on the floor right there at 7 feet, because that's where the non-volley zone is. So stand just outside the non-volley zone and just practice hitting the ball over the net,
Yeah.
keeping your arm relaxed, using your big muscles. And I
And my
can't
legs.
tell you.
Yeah,
yes.
and just keep it gentle. Don't do big
Yeah.
hitting, and just get into a rhythm. See if you can do 25 in a row, and then 50 in a row, and then
Yeah,
even
it helps. It
100.
really
Just
does.
little things. Get a rhythm going. Use your legs. Use your big muscles.
Mhm.
When I was a kid, about sort of 10, 11, it was my dad who got me into tennis. And I used to have a ping pong bat and a ping pong ball, and all day long I didn't have anyone to play with a lot of times, and I just hit that against the wall all day long and just get a rhythm going. And of course in my head I was playing Bjorn Borg in the Wimbledon final, and Ili Nastase, and I was beating them all and winning the Wimbledon final, just getting into all that imagination as you do when you're a kid. And I'm sure, honestly, all those hours that I put in as a teenager, you know, it really helps. Just get a rhythm going. Is that right, Jeff? Just, you know, don't hit it hard. Just,
I think that's
yeah,
a good idea.
yeah.
I had a friend of mine who hurt his ankle and couldn't play all winter, but that's what he did. He went down to his basement, put up there, and he spent 15 minutes a day. And that's all he did was hit back and forth. He came back in the spring, different player. I mean,
Yeah.
was able to dink and place the ball well. And so I would say that's an excellent idea.
Very
Yeah,
good idea.
yeah. A lot of people do it in their garages.
Mhm.
That's a really good point. Anything else from anyone at all about serving or volleying or return of serve or anything like that?
Maybe later.
Yeah, I know. But don't
Just a bit.
hesitate. Yeah, don't hesitate to you know, go into the group, go into Senior Pickleball Tips group and ask the questions. You know, I know Jeff's normally sort of catches them pretty quick. So you know, do that, Sylvie. Don't hesitate, because that's why we're here. We're
I
here
appreciate.
to help you improve your game, but also have fun. I think that's the main reason why we're all here. Yeah, so just to finish off then, Jeff, if you had a new beginner coming to you and saying, right, I've just started playing pickleball, what are the 3 top tips you'd give them? There's a challenge for you. The 3 top tips.
Okay, keep the ball in front of you. Number 1, always keep the ball in front of you. Number 2, make sure you're getting it over the net. If you hit it in the net, it's dead. If you hit it over the net, even if it's high, you still got a chance of winning the point. And number 3, learn anticipation. When the ball is in the air, look to where the ball is going to land. Try to move into position so that you're there when the ball lands and you can return the ball. I would say those are 3 major things that would help you moving forward.
Okay, fabulous. Now, Barbara, I know you need to go, so you head off, but it's lovely
Thank
to
you
see
so
you.
much. This was
You-
very, very helpful.
Great,
Yep.
great. Thank
Take
you
care.
so much. Okay,
Bye
take
bye,
care.
Barbara.
Bye for now. Good. Yeah. So I hope that's been helpful, guys.
Absolutely.
We got a few more minutes to go. Is there anything else at all in terms of equipment or serving, return to serve, volleying, anything?
Maybe one thing, when
Yeah,
I
go on.
played, it's like I don't see the ball coming at the, I don't know, excuse my English. I have to think and tell you
Sure,
after.
no problem. Take your
Okay.
time.
When I go to catch the ball, I swing the ball, but it goes past, you know?
You miss it.
I miss it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
is there
Are you-
anything I can do to make
Are
it
you
happen?
playing indoors?
Into what?
Are
Are
you
you playing
inside?
indoors?
Are you inside a building? Are you indoors?
No, I was outside in a park in Florida.
Okay, so are you swinging early? Are you swinging late? Are you not seeing the ball?
I swing like, but now I
Okay,
know I have to
so
put my arm really like
right,
this.
so if
I know that,
if
and
you have your paddle out in front of you, your paddle should be held about chest high, especially when you're in near the non-volley zone. You want your paddle about chest high. And when your paddle's here, then you can move it either way very easily. A lot of beginners have a position where they have their default position is this. They hold their paddle down at the side. And then when the ball's coming towards them, by the time they get the paddle up in position, it's already by them. So if your paddle, the way I teach people is keep your paddle here. And then all you have to do is move your paddle back and forth to get the ball low, high, wherever
it
you
was
want
coming,
it. That's where you.
it was coming more further. It was more away from my arm. So I think I have
Well,
to,
then you have to move your feet.
yeah, it's my
That's
feet.
Yeah.
that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Is footwork is huge.
Yeah.
We try to reach out and grab the ball clear out here. If we have time, we need to move into where the ball is.
With
We
my
want to
feet.
keep absolutely. We want to keep your paddle as close to your body or in front of your body as we can. The further you get away from your body, what are you hitting the ball with?
Mhm.
Your wrist. You're
Yeah.
using your wrist, you're looking your elbow. But
Yeah.
if you move to there and you have it here, now you're using your big muscles, you're using your legs and things.
Yeah.
So make sure you're really moving to where the ball is. Don't try to lift and leave your feet on the ground. I see people tipping like this. They'll reach like this and one foot will leave the ground. Well, if one foot leaves the ground, what are you using to hit the ball with? Arms, wrist, everything else that you shouldn't be. So stay grounded, move your whole body,
Yeah,
and get close to the ball so you can really make the shot with your core muscles.
that's what, okay. Good tips,
Fantastic.
very good tips.
Good.
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 Very good.
Well,
I
Sylvie,
appreciate it.
can
Thank you
you
so much.
do us a favor and get onto the Senior Pickleball Tips group and just say how the Zoom meeting went and the benefit you got from it. Bernie, if you could do that, that would be absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
So listen, thank you, Coach Jeff, and please do check out Limitless Pickleball on YouTube. It's a fantastic resource. And yeah, we will see you in the Senior Pickleball Tips group. Certainly do that. So thank you so much for joining us. And I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to say that we're looking at having a sort of membership website as well, which is going to be called seniorpickleballtips.com. So you can go over and have a look at that as well if you want to, but it's very much in development stage. But listen, thank you very much. We're going to stop the recording now. But it has been absolutely great to have you guys join us.